Hello again, college football fans. Congratulations, Kirby Smart. Congratulations, Stetson Bennett. Congratulations, Kevin Norton. You're smart. I'm dumb. You were right. I was wrong. And so it goes. You know, earlier Saban had that rant where he talked about how nobody feels worse than the players. Well, Coach, I have to disagree with you a little bit on that one. Maybe in the moment they feel as bad as I did, but when they woke up today, for example, when Bryce Young woke up today, he was still Heisman Trophy winning Bryce Young, quarterback of the Alabama Crimson Tide, 20-year-old millionaire with more to come. And I woke up almost 40 with heartburn and a YouTube channel with 14 subscribers. So that's my argument against Coach Saban for that one. Yep. I don't think my theory about defense winning championships nowadays got completely blown into the water because Stetson Bennett, he did what he had to do. They couldn't hide him. He had to go out there and perform. He had to throw some amazing throws, and he did. He was able to do it, and he was able to do it behind in the second half. Big-time touchdown to a freshman wide receiver, Mitchell. And so the offense had to go out there and perform. And, I mean, the most impressive thing in the whole game was how the O-line for Georgia just took over in the fourth quarter. And they were giving Stetson all day. They were opening up huge holes for White and those guys. And so, yeah, Georgia was the better team last night. I'll be the first to admit it. And, the problem with eating crow these days is I don't know if it's a supply chain issue or whatever. I wasn't able to find any at Publix or Walmart either. I even went to some local places, but I promised you guys that I would eat crow, so I had to take matters into my own hands. I got the air rifle. I went into the backyard and we got some big bastards back there, and so I put it in buffalo sauce, which is close to Georgia's colors, jersey color, right? Buffalo red, that's pretty close. So here you go, here's the crow. It's disgusting. It really sucks. I'm gonna wipe it off. And as a bonus, and I didn't even mention this, Kevin Norton, you're getting a bonus because I also got some humble pie for me to eat. Humble Pie is a pretty good band as well. They did a cover of that Diana Ross and the Supreme song. Outstanding. You should listen to it if you ever get a chance. Humble Pie. The Humble Pie is better than the Crow, I'll tell you that. Well, let's just get into it, I already mentioned, Georgia's offensive line off the charts. The defense did play better, like I had predicted. The first part of the game was going pretty much how I had predicted, except Alabama didn't get the touchdown on their opening possession, but they did move the ball pretty well. And obviously losing Jameson Williams was a big disappointment, and handicapped us even more than we already were on offense. I didn't consider us that handicapped going into the game. I figured that someone would step in for Mechie, which they Latu gave it his best. Jaleel Billingsley was a non-factor again. They went to him early in that drive, but he fell down on his route and just really couldn't be relied on from that point on. I think they targeted him a couple of more times, but I don't think he had a reception the whole game. Slade Bolden did what he could do. Brian Robinson had about the same kind of game that he had in the SEC championship game, but when it came down to crunch time and they had the lead in the fourth quarter, our O-line was not able to give Bryce enough time. They weren't able to open up holes for B-Rob, and Georgia's O-line was. The O-line is always one of those groups that gets forgotten, the big uglies, and I don't know why. Because it's always, at the end of championship games, it's usually one line or the other that just takes over a game, whether it's the defensive line. And, I would have figured with both of the defensive fronts coming into this game that if any line was going to take over, it would have been one of the defensive fronts. But, and Georgia had the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. Their defensive seven gave our O-line more fits than our defensive seven could give their O-line fits. And their O-line, of course, just was the star of the show, really, in the fourth quarter. Other than Stetson Bennett, who, I can't say how wrong I was about Stetson. He silenced the doubters now. He silenced this doubter. He did it. I mean, I had to see it for myself, but he actually did it. And I was still confident when Jamison went down. I thought what I had said, I meant. I didn't think that our defense was going to allow Stetson to do anything after having a second look at him this season. But he kept fighting, and yeah, he looked early on. He looked in disarray, and some of the time early in the second half, he still looked in disarray. But he pulled it together and got it together when he had to, like a champion does, and that's what he is. Stetson Bennett is a national championship winning quarterback. I'm not surprised that. Really, I'm not surprised that Georgia's defense held Alabama to 18 points. I predicted 34-13, but I kind of, in the back of my mind, was thinking that, a couple of those scores, maybe one of them comes directly from turnovers and maybe one of them comes from, a short field situation. And we did get a short field situation, but we were not able to take advantage of it. But that was after Jamison was already gone. Don't know if it would have helped in that sort of a situation. Who knows? But I want to focus more on what Georgia did right, really, than what Alabama did wrong, because the big blow to Alabama was losing Jamison Williams, and I don't think anybody had any illusions that Brian Robinson was going to be able to take the game over. I mean, and no help back there, no depth at running back really. Finally came back to bite us in the butt real bad. This loss wasn't anything like the Texas A&M loss. It was a war of attrition that Georgia won, and hats off to them. Kirby has done an outstanding job recruiting. He was right to leave in Stetson. He did what he had to do. He didn't make any mistakes. Well, there was the one fumble, but that was one of those 50-50 kind of plays anyway, and like I said, Alabama wasn't able to take advantage of it because Georgia's defense did what they were supposed to do. And 40 years, Georgia, soak it up. Obviously I would much rather you guys be feeling bad today than me, but sometimes the world is a little bit more generous than other times, and soak it up and enjoy it, because believe me, I've been through it a lot, and the national media will talk about it today, and then you probably won't hear anything about it for the rest of the time, and it'll be, the next thing you hear about college football will be, the next thing you see is going to be a number 1 Alabama preseason ranking for the 2022 season, which, always ticked me off whenever Alabama would win, and you'd wake up the next day and it was Oklahoma or Ohio State or whoever was number 1 in somebody's way too early preseason poll, which I might get around to doing. I might not. I might not ever do another video, but I at least promised some people that I would take my lumps if they came to me, and I hope that I've done it sufficiently. Feel free to comment if you need any more groveling and more apologies. But yeah, there you have it. Georgia's the national champions. They are the best team in America, and congratulations again to Kirby Smart and Stetson Bennett. I feel like I owe both of those guys apologies for doubting their strategy and doubting their ability. And it was a fun season, as an Alabama fan. We played with our backs against the wall for most of the season. The Iron Bowl was still something I'll never forget, and it's not going to be quite the Daniel Moore painting that it would have been with the national championship after it, but it's still it's still a great memory and something that I'll always cherish. And, you know, losing a national championship, there are some things that are worse than losing a national championship, losing an Iron Bowl and death. And if I could think of something else, I will let you know later. Thanks for watching.